At first glance, a Byzantine cathedral in St. Louis seems very surprising. It's an amalgamation of styles, especially the Romanesque and some qualities of the Byzantine. And then the interior tends to be Byzantine, like Venetian, like the East. But the architects, Barnett, Hayes, Newman, they believed, and many people at the time believed, that the Romanesque, let's say in the West, the architecture of the West in the Middle Ages, and the Byzantine, the architecture of the East in the Middle Ages, were at the same time and shared a lot in common. And we see in Catholicism particularly, we see an interesting development in cathedrals. Marseille is one, and also London, Westminster Cathedral. Not Westminster Abbey, but Westminster Cathedral, the Catholic cathedral, is a Byzantine cathedral, and consciously going, kind of doing, I see it as doing something exotic, something that's Catholic but exotic, to stand out in the midst of prim and proper London. And that kind of interest in this Byzantine revival and Romanesque revival translates to some examples in America all over. And this is the most famous, though. St. Louis is the most famous. And the point is, they start this cathedral a couple of years after London. So this, Westminster Cathedral, and then we get St. Louis Cathedral, and then we get other beautiful churches around the country. But at first, this is kind of an overwhelming pile on the outside, because it's got two towers and they're 120 feet apart, and then a big rose window set within an arch, very deep. And then a huge dome, 200 feet tall on the outside, and then these big, round, curving transepts. It's got a lot of sculptural quality, all made out of granite, all beautifully built. And the other part of it, and quite ornate, but the other thing that's interesting about it is it's unfinished, the exterior. As you get close to it, you realize that those columns have capitals, and the capitals are not carved. And some of the detail work around the arches or around the pediments, around the gables, is uncarved. Because in those days, when you brought the granite from the quarry to the site, you actually had it kind of roughed out in the quarry, but the sculptors and the ornamentalists would actually finish it right there on site. And so you have all these unfinished parts of the building that from afar look great. As you get up close, you realize, wow, they ran out of money. So then the outside is, okay, it's Romanesque-ish, and that was in style earlier in the 19th century, let's say 1880s. So this is kind of a little out of date, but we like that, and it's kind of massive and ponderous, but also beautiful with the towers and the dome. And two apses, or three apses, really, the two large apses, which have half domes, and almost everything is covered either with marble or with mosaic. To go into the history or the story of the mosaics is a story in and of itself. But they're glass mosaics, which is, let's say, the development of Christianity to make mosaics out of glass. The glass is fired to have color, and usually it has also color behind it. So whenever you see gold mosaics, it's actually a glass mosaic with gold on the back of it. Mm-hmm. So there's some depth, there's some, and so there's millions of little tesserae, millions of little pieces of glass, all put together into shapes that look like figures. They look like images. They look like angels and saints. And the basic idea is that they're trying to tell, on the one hand, if you go on the narthex, they're telling the story of St. Louis, which is the church is named after and the town's named after. So it's this great king who was very dedicated to his people and to his faith and to the poor. And then as you come to the church, you have, of course, the Trinity, Christ, the resurrection, the ascension in the kind of under the main dome, angels, the Beatitudes. You have Old Testament saints, Elijah going up to heaven, Ezekiel. You have, but you also have stories from America and from St. Louis. So you have American saints, and you have actually stories different things that happened in the life of the faithful in St. Louis. So it's really telling a story, you could say salvation history, bringing it up to, to maybe the 19th, 20th century in America.